What is up, guys? And welcome back to Flow State. It is episode 42 today. And as always, I am joined by my wonderful co-host, Mr. Adam Smith. Adam, there's no fancy intros today, no birthdays that we need to talk about or that we've missed, fortunately. So straight into the good stuff, mate. How are you? How we doing today?
Straight into it, mate. Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for asking. I'm keeping well. I just mentioned there off the camera that I wasn't in swimming this morning, so I'm feeling a bit lackluster here. I've got my coffee in hand, and I need maybe 10 or 15 minutes to get myself going. Normally, I'm buzzing out of the swimming pool and jumping into the office, but yeah, no swim this morning. Felt a little bit tired. Um, in the pool on Wednesday night, despite it being a more technique-based session. So I was like, yeah, that's definitely a sign that I need a rest. So I've been really consistent with it. So yeah, just really happy just to take a bye ball this morning and have a little bit of a sleep in and rest up. And that kind of coincides with feeling a bit tired this week. I felt a bit tired last week and then felt good. And then all of a sudden this week, I felt a bit tired again. So maybe just need to have a bit of a rain check. Doing a lot of variety, as you know, in training, and I actually think that variety is probably introducing more of like an unpredictable training load to my body. And yeah, this week I'm definitely feeling it. You know,
You know what?
but otherwise good.
That's actually a really good point, and I'm sorry to dive it straight into the nitty gritty of things, but I was thinking about this the other day that because both of us have been through that kind of stage where you're doing marathon prep, you're doing race prep, and your life is just running. And exactly as you said, it's predictable. It's like same structure, week in, week out. All you're doing is running. And I guess it becomes really easy at that point to go, okay, I'm having an off week because I've literally got like a carbon copy from the last kind of 6 weeks, 2 months, 3 months to go, okay, I'm really not feeling as good as I did last week. Whereas, like you said, when you're playing football, when you're swimming, I guess it's going to be really hard to know, okay, do I feel different to last week? Is this session different? Well, I don't know because the structure was different. So that's a really interesting point. I guess for you, it comes down to, I guess you know your body so well that you're like, yeah, nah, something feels wrong.
Yeah, absolutely true. Something that you said there at the end, knowing your body so well. I think sometimes though we can still be almost caught unawares. Like right now, I've had to take, I've kind of had to take the session off. Whereas maybe if I intervened a little bit earlier, could I have sort of kept the ball rolling? I don't know, but you're absolutely right. I'll probably just go for like a walk or something later because I could just feel it in the body big time. Wednesday night, I was like, yeah, the muscles were tired and I was kind of, I just wasn't as relaxed in my breathing, and the session wasn't even a tough session. It was very much technique based. Maybe that was what it was. Maybe it was because I was actually focusing on my technique and changing my technique that it was just gassing me a bit. So maybe it's that like learning again. Do you know how if you learn something new, your brain gets tired and you want to sleep?
Yep.
Maybe it's like that. My muscles are learning something new. And maybe it's just that kind of fatigue. So maybe I'm nearly not that tired. I don't know. But
I mean, I feel like you know yourself so well that it probably is, but it could even be like, I don't know if it'd work this way in such an acute sense, but I was talking to one of my colleagues about this. He's got a PhD in kind of hypertrophy training, resistance training. He was talking about when you take a deload, which deloads are a little bit more common in like the bodybuilding sphere and whatnot, but because you kind of go through so many weeks of hard training, you build up that adrenaline, those catecholamines, and that kind of blocks any kind of, it's almost keeping you healthy against fatigue, against sickness. As soon as you have that deloader, in this case, like a little bit of a down day or a down session where it's not as intense, you don't have the same adrenaline, you're maybe not as pumped, that you go, oh, fucking hell, I'm actually quite fatigued today. I'm actually like really feeling it. And especially in your instance where it's like all of a sudden,
it's like when the body gets a chance to switch off, it kind of does.
It literally does. Yeah.
Well, teachers would always say that. I know in the teaching world, when they get to the end of a term and they have their holiday, that's when teachers tend to get sick.
Yeah.
So there could be something in that for sure. But anyway, taking the day off, and yeah, hopefully I'll feel all the better for it. I was going to say something else there. Oh yeah, the other symptom that I would always like correlate with, for me anyways, a bit too much fatigue, is that feeling of kind of demotivation, but not
Mm,
even necessarily demotivation for training, just a little bit feeling lackluster day to day,
yep.
where your kind of mood and your mental energy and clarity has just kind of taken a bit of a dip. Your kind of appetite for work, for example,
Mm,
takes a dive. I always relate that, for me anyway, in my body, to like the
mm,
first sign of fatigue. And I always then try to have that bit of early intervention when I feel that way. Right,
mm,
okay, like what do I need to do to take me out of this? And sometimes it is movement, sometimes it is actually get outside and get moving a little bit to
yeah.
kind of, you know, get you going. But at other times when you kind of know there's a difference, it's okay. I just need to rest up here for a little bit, and
Mhm.
it can pull you around. But yeah, mate, how are you keeping? More
Yeah,
importantly.
I feel not more importantly, yeah, about the same. I feel like we're on a even keel here, but yeah, no, I think in somewhat of a similar boat, to be honest with you. It's been probably a bigger week of work. Not that I'd like, because work is big regardless. It's always a good thing, but there's some days where I always use a Friday to gauge how I'm feeling, like as a whole, because some days, like I got to Thursday afternoon, I've done a pretty good week of training. I've had some big rides, my biggest run that I've done as part of my rehab plan.
Oh,
Thursday, yeah, I know. We're happy to talk about that in a bit. It wasn't anything special, but um, it was something. But then I was feeling really good yesterday afternoon. So Thursday afternoon, again, I've made it through the bulk of my week, and I usually gauge Friday as to how fatigued I am. Because if I get to the end of the week and I'm like buzzing on a Friday morning, end of the week, I know I'm in a pretty good space. And then I woke up this morning and I was just like, oh man, it's because I'm so regimented. I'm in such a like rigid routine with like wake times, going to work and whatnot. I woke up, I was like, man, I just don't feel, I didn't have that spring in my step. And I was a little bit like, oh, I feel fine, but just not quite as bouncy as I'd want to. And I think the thing that helps me at the moment is just the fact the weather's so good, because I think if the weather was miserable, I'd really struggle on days like that. Whereas like it's been 36 today, like the sun is shining and it really helps. And I was like, look,
nice.
um, spoiler alert, I've planned a ride tomorrow with my guy Brad. We're going to head out. We've got a route planned. It's about 60K, I think we're going to do in the morning.
Yes.
And I was like, yep,
Yes.
fantastic. Like it's locked
Yes.
in, it's done. And normally on Friday, I'd be doing quite an intense like VO2 max session. But I was like, well, if I'm going out tomorrow, I want to do some quality, because chances are like when you're out on the road, obviously you spend a lot of time of that 60K. Not all of it is pedaling. Some of it is going to be zone one. So I was like, I'll do like a bit of almost a maintenance session. So instead of doing like 30 minutes of VO2 max work, I did about 2/3 of the volume. I took back the time spent at some of the higher power watts, and I just basically finished the session going, I can feel like I've worked, but I've got plenty left in the tank to save some room for tomorrow. Um, and yeah, hoping for a good sleep tonight, get out tomorrow. There's gonna be some
Nice
some
one.
elevation, so I'm looking forward to
Class.
that.
Is that going to be the first ride?
Well, I actually went out off
Mate, I
the
really
back
expected
of
you to come on to the camera this morning. Sorry to interrupt again. I
that
really
go.
expected you to come on this morning with your full kit on,
I need
helmet.
to get I need to get one of those little caps, one of the cycling caps. Oh, mate, that'd
I've
be.
got a few of those.
Oh, I feel like
Would you wear the little thing like flicked up or flicked down? Does it depend on the weather?
it depends on the weather. I feel like flicked up is more fashionable though.
Ah, man, I kind of
Typically,
think that's kind of like 2015.
you reckon?
Don't know.
I
I,
don't know. I don't. You
I
don't
kind of like
see
it.
them much.
No, I
Do you
like.
not see them?
I think a lot of the cyclists would wear them if it was piss and rain,
Yep.
with the visor kind of flicked down.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's class. So you've got all the gear. You're ready to go.
Yeah, I had a delivery come at the start of the week. I got I got
Cheeky.
some white Shimano shoes. So again, it's got to be when you're out on the road, it has to be white shoes, of course. Like you got to do it like the pros. Um,
White
Safety
socks.
first. I got yeah. At the moment, I'm still on my black ones. I'm trying to work out because I want a new kit for the road. I'm just trying to work out what to get because it's very like you
Map
got to look.
Melbourne.
Map is probably what I'm leaning towards. It's just like
Yeah,
astronomically expensive,
that's
like
fucking so nice though.
out fucking outrageous though. And
Yeah.
the equivalent is the Rafa Pro range because I've got some Rafa Core kits that I just wear on the indoor trainer, and they look smart, but that you can tell the quality isn't that great. And I'm like, if you're out on the road for 2-3 hours, you do need it to be quite comfortable.
Yeah. We have a great local brand here in Ireland
Mm,
called Gilibier, named after the
okay.
Col de Gilibier, which is one of
Hmm.
the famous climbs in France.
Hmm.
And they make, especially when I was doing a lot of cycling, they make really high quality kit for like a fraction of the price.
Mm.
And it's really nice to support like an Irish brand.
Oh, for sure.
Their stuff is absolutely great. You should check them out. They obviously they probably won't post to Australia, but yeah, their stuff is. I mean, it's pretty simple. It's not like your map or your Rafa designs and kits, but anyone that
Well, I
cycles here
found it.
locally will have definitely checked out. Yeah, Galibier. It's
Yeah. What do we
their
got?
stuff's really
Ooh.
high quality.
Okay, it's smart. It's like it's basic, but it's basic done really well.
Yeah, it's kind of like
I like that.
the the Uniqlo of the of the
Yes. Yeah,
cycling
yeah.
world. Yeah,
It's
no,
all in pounds, so I can't really. Oh, I can convert, I suppose, but
the stuff is top quality. Definitely
yeah,
worth checking
beautiful.
out. Or if you're listening and you're a cyclist locally and you haven't heard of Gillibert, which I'm sure you haven't, I'm
Hmm.
sure most cyclists locally have heard of this. But
Mm,
yeah, I got a few of their bits and was really impressed with the
mm,
quality and the comfort when I was
hmm.
doing a bit. Because you could get 4 or 5 bits for the same prices. You'd probably buy one or two from the likes of Map and stuff.
Hundred
But
percent.
anyways, mate, that's going to be
Mm,
great. That's really cool that you're going to be getting out on the bike and yeah, getting a nice ride in. I'm a
mm,
little bit jealous. I was putting some stuff into my attic there the other evening,
hmm.
doing a little bit of Vinted, as I was
Hmm.
telling you about
We
before,
love it.
because I've got my Vinted bag up in the attic of stuff that I've got to put up on Vinted and sell,
Hmm.
and then I've got the bag of stuff that's on Vinted, so I can pop into that and grab the stuff as it
Yeah.
sells. Made a few
What? Wait.
sales this week, by the
Just
way.
what are we selling? Because again, I got a few bits on Depop, which is like a similar thing. But what are you selling? What are you getting rid of?
Clothing and shoes.
But like, are we talking nice stuff, or are we talking
Well,
just like your
beauty is
bog
in the eye of
standard?
the beholder, right?
I like that. That's a good answer. That's a really good
Yeah,
answer.
no, the stuff's pretty good. It is. It's pretty decent. I'm never. I'm not hard on clothes and shoes,
Hmm.
as like my mom always told me. I always look after my stuff, and
Yeah,
I've got
yeah.
loads of stuff that hasn't taken too much wear, and it's decent quality. It's mostly like it's good stuff. So it's all selling, mate, which is great.
There you
And
go.
I get a little bit of a buzz out of it, as I was telling you like a couple of weeks
Yeah,
ago.
but it's a dopamine hit, man.
So I made a few sales this week. I've got a couple of bags here to go out. I feel like a real entrepreneur,
I can see
and
there's dollar signs, or I should say euro signs in your eyes, mate.
yeah. Well, we're just trying to clear out a bit, because you gather up too much stuff over the years,
You
and
do, yeah,
we don't have a massive home,
yeah. Hmm.
and shit's just taking up room, and also it's
Hmm.
nice to clear out for like even a bit of a mental reset. So we've still got a way to go, but yeah, I've sold an absolute wreck of stuff and made a few quid, so
Hmm.
you couldn't beat it. You couldn't beat it.
And
So Vinted is very much my friend, and it's great. It's so easy to use. It's it couldn't be more simple. Do you know what I mean?
that is the end of Flow State episode 42, sponsored by Vinted, where you can sell
I'm up.
all your clothes. No, God,
Yeah,
so you're up in the attic. I feel like you were going to tell me a story, and then we just
that's
went on
right.
a
I
complete
was.
tangent.
Yeah, I was up in the attic and spotted my bike just sitting there
Ooh,
gathering dust, and made me a little bit sad. But
she was calling.
she was calling. I might have to get it down, get a little bit of a service on it,
Hmm.
and perhaps get a little ride in whenever the weather starts to turn again.
Hmm.
Um, Yeah, I love that. Mate, do you know what? See, just being outside, I know we've talked about this before. Sunny day. It doesn't even have to be super, super, super warm. I don't mind
Hmm.
putting on the leggings and the long sleeves and whatever, the shoe protectors.
Hmm.
But if it was sunshine, little to no wind, riding around country lanes here locally, mate, that is just pure happiness,
Can't beat it.
pure
Yep.
class. And that time when I bought the bike, during COVID, when we got back from Australia, I think it was late March, or sorry, it was early April. And I don't know if you remember this, but you were actually in Australia at the time, so
Mm.
you wouldn't. But here in Ireland, and I'm sure in England as well, in the UK, we literally got like 3 months of sunshine. It was as if
I remember people talking about it.
it
Yeah.
was crazy. I mean, it was the weather was unbelievable, mate. It was
Yeah.
unbelievable. I was out on my bike pretty much every day for 3, 4 hours exploring different places that I hadn't been to before.
Was that
And
during COVID?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was right at the beginning of lockdown. So
Mm.
we
Hmm.
got home in, I want to say, very early April
Yep.
2020.
Hmm.
And I just went and bought a bike like right away because I was like, right, we're locked down. We're not working. Um, I'm going to get out on this bike here. And it was, oh mate, the weather was unbelievable. I
Hmm.
remember it like we were doing dinner outside from the beginning. It was just class. So yeah, fond memories of that and spinning about the country in
Mm.
on my road bike, having fun. And yeah, it was great. The thing that just gives me the biggest fear, I know I've spoke about this, is cars, mate.
Mm.
I
Yep.
think drivers are just becoming more and more distracted as they drive, with the phones and even with like a lack of respect for cyclists. But more importantly, that like distraction, I think that just
Mm.
gives me the absolute fear is being out there and just not knowing like what's beside or behind you. I seen a great
Yep.
advertisement there lately, or a video on socials where bus drivers in some country, when they were doing their bus driving training, they were actually, it was bus drivers or lorry drivers, I can't remember, but what they were basically done is they put them on a bike and had another bus driver or lorry driver drive up alongside them to
Yep.
see how it felt to be a cyclist.
Hmm.
And it was absolutely hilarious watching their reactions, to see like how a cyclist on the road actually does feel,
Yep.
when a bus or a lorry drives up alongside them. It was hilarious because it obviously is, it's bloody scary.
Yep.
But that's what gives me the real fear here. But
Yeah, I feel like especially in the UK, less so, I don't know much about the roads in Ireland or Northern Ireland, but I feel like in the UK as a whole, the roads are so small. Like
mm,
they are so narrow. At least in Australia, I feel like maybe there's a little bit more give. Like again, we don't really get the country roads so much, and the issue is if you get if you're going through because we get like a similar thing where you're just driving through kind of dirt or like grassland, but the problem is there all you get down those roads is lorries and these like massive road trains which ain't great, whereas at least in the UK like you do get the country lanes and they're
yeah,
quite nice to cycle down, so it's like it's pros and cons of both, but you're absolutely right. I think that was my biggest fear getting into cycling as well, is the fact that there is that element
yeah.
of
I
danger.
reckon I reckon those B roads, like obviously here in the UK, there's B roads and there's A roads, and then there's like
Mm,
country lanes and sort of country
yep.
roads. Those B roads are definitely the most dangerous. Like you're not going to cycle
Yeah.
on an A road really because they're like fucking highways.
It's motorway,
But
yeah.
it's almost like a motorway. But B roads, those like main roads, but they're not
Mhm.
super big. They're twisty and windy. I think those are the most dangerous by far.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know why I'm kind of mentally scarred about that because touch wood, I've never really had an incident, but
Mm,
it's the thought of it, it's the idea of it, and kind of knowing how distracted people are now when they drive.
mhm.
It's pretty scary. But anyway, mate, you don't have to worry about that down under, where the drivers respect the cyclists, and
I
there's
mean,
a mutual respect.
you say that. I think there's, I've definitely heard some horror stories. Tradies do not like cyclists, like, really do not like. Mate, it was one guy at my gym. I was explaining it because everyone knows me. Everyone asks me how like running's going, and I explained to one person. I was like, "Look, I don't think I'm going to be doing any like serious running. again, just based on the injury, it didn't seem to be getting better. He was like, "Oh, what are you going to do then?" I was like, "Well, I've got into cycling. It's next best thing." And the face he gave me, it was like just pure. I don't know. Like he was laughing on the outside, but inside, I was like, mate, he was there. There was like rage. It was just like fury in this guy. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to get a lot of that, I think. Even telling people the first question every time, you're like, oh, I'm like getting into cycling. I'm going out on the roads and whatnot. Is, oh, does that mean you wear the Lycra? I'm like, yeah. Have you ever seen a cyclist wear fucking board shorts, you peanut? Like, it's just, it's like, what do you think I'm going to wear? Like, budgie smugglers. And they're just so shocked at the thought of wearing Lycra. I'm like, yeah,
Man,
there
I
is a
can't wait to
reason
see
for
you.
it, mate. I look so good. I'm
Gonna look like such a hipster cyclist with your tats and your map gear.
that. To be honest, I don't want that. I'm tempted to get a long sleeve because I find that I don't know, arm tattoos look really funny.
Long
With
sleeves are unreal looking as well.
they look class. Both
Yeah,
of us have got a thing for long sleeves. Let's be real.
yeah,
Like
we
even
do.
when it's football kits, like it's a long sleeve
Yeah,
all
those
day,
long
every
sleeve
day.
map kits though look
Mm-hmm.
absolutely unreal. Mate, do you know
Mm-hmm.
this is such bad podcasting, but do you know what other? Have you ever seen? I'm sure you have. Do you know like the grey shorts? They're like
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they are
It's
absolutely class.
you know what epitomizes it for me, and that it's made by Map is the Jayco, the Jayco Alula team
What's that?
kit. They're a
Oh,
cycling team.
protein.
Go have a look. It's made by Map. I'm not the biggest fan of purple, but this is probably my second favorite kit,
Yeah,
cycling
that is.
kit.
I've seen that.
And it's the dark grey kind of granite shorts. It just looks absolutely class. I think
Yeah,
just
that's unbelievable.
yeah, it's out for anyone who is still listening, who we've kept. Just go look at like
That
Team
is
Jayco Alula
absolutely unreal. Those grey
team kit.
shorts, that purple, that is absolutely unbelievable.
And I
Yeah,
was listening to a podcast and they were saying this is probably the
unbelievable.
only kit where it's kind of acceptable to actually go. They've not released this one on sale. Last year's one was very similar, but it's kind of acceptable for fans to actually go and buy that kit and wear it on the road because it is so classy. It's
Full
not
kit.
like
I'll not
yes,
finish that sentence.
yes, exactly right. Um,
Yeah, that is
yeah,
absolutely class. Do you know what, mate? The new Ineos kit's actually really nice as well.
my
A
honestly,
lot
I
of
love it
people have,
with the white shorts. With the white shorts, it is like 10 out of
yeah,
10.
a lot of people were kind of giving it a bit of stick, but I actually really like the one with the white shorts. I think it's
I
class.
like, I do as well.
White
My,
shorts are a bit, especially white cycling shorts, they're a
it's
bit
a
risky.
it's a bad idea. It's a
Yeah, you
bad
don't
idea.
you don't want to have an accident on the bike in those.
See,
Um,
they said Ineos suddenly came out and said, "Oh, we've changed it back to black for like the winter classics and whatnot." And I was like, "Yeah, I reckon what's happened is definitely it's a good idea to change it for the wet, windy, muddy races." But I reckon someone shat themselves in one of those first races, and they've gone, "Yeah, this is a bad idea, lads. We need to
yeah, I'm not
scrap."
sure how the package would look displayed in white shorts either. I'm not sure it would be the
Also
most
true.
aesthetically pleasing thing,
No.
bits and pieces flying everywhere. But yeah, it's a nice looking kit all the same.
Yeah.
Mate, I've been back listening to a bit of running content. I know we
Okay.
mentioned content last week and the week before, I think, but this is kind of how I know my real desire for running is really returning because
It's coming back.
I'm I've been listening to Sweat Elite. I've been
Okay.
listening to the boys on Inside Running, which I've been kind of listening to on and off anyways over the last few months
Mhm.
because they are just the lads. Like, Julian is just absolutely brilliant. I forgot how much I miss Julian
He's
ranting about stuff. Mate,
he's good
he's
value.
just class. He
Good
is
value.
absolutely class. There are no holes barred with him. And they have like, they were saying on this week's podcast, they have like 36,000 listeners and they're just talking complete shite at times.
I know.
And
Why can't we have 35,000 followers? That's what we do.
do you know what, mate? They are like the OG podcasters though.
They are. They are.
They have been going for so long. Like, I got into the podcast big time when we were in Australia and we were doing a bit of work. We were doing our regional work, and
Hmm.
every day was just like mundane work. And I just had my earphones in every
Hmm.
day listening to podcasts, and that's when I got into them in a big way. Um, but I'm back listening to a few different bits and pieces, mostly just when I'm working here at the computer, and really enjoyed. Have really enjoyed the Sweat Elite pod.
Mm.
I've really enjoyed the Inside Running pods, but there's a lot of talk. I don't know if you've seen Randy Japan's rant during the week about doping in sport. Did you?
I didn't. I think I heard about it because I think I know Sweat Elite. Matt Fox loves him, and I think he was talking about it. But please, like, go on
No,
for.
it was just really interesting. He your guy Jack, he basically made a video where he simply said like the Olympic Games is the enhanced games.
Mhm.
Like what's
Yep.
going to happen if they're not careful, it's going to open up a massive can of worms. Is that, you know, they're talking about doing this enhanced games where athletes can dope and just see who is the best under doped conditions. And he's like, what's actually going to end up happening is the guys at the Olympics are going to be running faster times
Hmm.
because they're all, he basically said, like at the top level, pretty much everyone is doping.
Yep.
And one of the big reasons why he moved to Japan was for um, the clean athletics culture. Like he says, he obviously admits
Mm.
that not every Japanese athlete is clean, but they have a culture of wanting to do things the right way, and
Mhm.
that kind of that would be the Japanese way, as we know. Like Japanese people and society is very different in good ways to like other societies and other cultures. But yeah, mate, it was a really interesting video. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that like we've heard before. You know,
Mhm.
systematic doping in Russia. Um, Easy access to doping products in East Africa, like Ethiopia and Kenya, and
Mhm.
how athletes kind of need to almost dope in order to fund their lives and to to live essentially to
Mhm.
create better lives. But yeah, it was just a really interesting listen. And then Sweat Elite and Matt and Luke, they did a bit of a follow up where they just chatted through it and just talked about the video. But definitely recommend going and watching that if you're interested. He really didn't hold back. I don't even think I've just quite finished it. I think I've maybe about 20 minutes left. Um, but it was very interesting. And then yeah, back on the Sweat Elite or the back on the Inside Running guys as well, and enjoying their rambles. They're very good.
I think it's a nice because those were two of my three favorite running podcasts. Again, I've been listening to it less, but I'd still happily less so because I used to listen to the Inside Running Boys when I was on like just easy runs, and because I don't really do easy run, I only do one run a week, and at the moment I'm just going without earphones just 'cause I want to try and stay as focused as I can on what I'm doing and how it's feeling. I just tend not to listen to it. Because it's very much it's conversational as opposed to topical. And I feel like you have to be wanting that, just something in the
Yeah.
background. But I really, really rate Luke and Matt from Sweat Elite, and I think they have because they're not afraid to actually
No,
like
they're not.
shake feathers with topics. I
Yeah,
think I really
they're really not.
appreciated. They're quite blunt. I mean, it's a really good like they make a good pairing for sure.
Yeah, they're definitely not afraid to kind of. I don't know what the right word is, but they're not afraid to. They can be quite abrasive, I think,
Mm.
sometimes. Um, Towards others. You know, they can be very like I don't know whether there's sometimes I feel like is there a little bit of a jealous element to some of the things that they say because I'm listening to them and I'm like you're kind of cutting someone or like getting stuck into someone and I'm just kind of thinking like why what's the kind of reason behind that and maybe it's just to ruffle a few feathers and
Mm.
create some conversation but I'm kind of picking up sometimes a little bit of a jealous vibe from time to time about maybe what others are doing in the running world and what's
Mm.
happening in the running world. I don't know what it is, but there's definitely a bit of an abrasiveness to
Do you know what epitomizes that for me? And I think this was literally this
it.
time last year before Matt Fox got kind of sent to prison. That's a whole nother thing. Go and listen to his story. It's mad. But he, prior to the Ballarat Marathon last year, he was, I don't know what the beef is between him and the Inside Running podcast, but he made a bet. He was like on his podcast was calling out Croker and going, "Oh, I'll bet." Like it was quite a lot. I think it was like 10 grand, 10 Aussie dollars or something along those lines. He was like, "Oh, if you can beat me, basically, I'll give you 10 grand. You won't owe me anything. Like, answer this." And he never did. Like, they never got back to him. And so I think but what that does is obviously create conversation, and it creates hype around something. So I think part of that is probably actually quite strategic in the case of Sweat Elite, in that if
Yeah.
you have opinions, like, again, you could go to the extent of saying, like, some people fabricate opinions simply to get
Maybe
views. But
that's the bit we're missing, mate. Maybe we should just start calling people out on this podcast to
I
get
think
some
so. I think
more
that's
views.
what
We're
I'm
too
getting to.
pragmatic.
We need to
Yeah.
be mean.
We're too safe. We're too pragmatic. No, yeah, I just don't see the point in kind of burning bridges for the sake of burning bridges, or burning bridges for the sake of entertainment or other people's entertainment. That's definitely not my kind of forte or my style. But yeah, listen, their conversations are really interesting. Like, they don't hold back. They're probably the opposite of pragmatic. And they're definitely an entertaining listen, if nothing else.
Yep.
So I've been kind of back on that, loving the Inside Running boys, because they're just great, mate. They're so real. They've also been through the ups and downs in running so many times. Like, I can't remember whether it was Brady or Bradley, but one of them is coming back to kind of like good fitness, and one of them just ran 15:10 in the 5K, and like, that's nowhere near his lifetime best, but they're celebrating that because it's kind of their comeback PB. I think it was like an over 45, not Australian, maybe an over 45 Australian record, or over 45 territorial record in Australia, but whatever it was, like, you can just see their journey. If you've listened to them for a long time, it's a complete metaphor for running itself, because they've just been through it all. Like, Julian's not running at the minute because he's got an injury. He's going back to get a scan on, I can't remember whether it was his knee or something else, but he's doing, like, he hasn't even been exercising for the last few months because he's been opening up a new shop. And yeah, they're just real, and it's just what real running life and life itself looks like. And they don't hold back in terms of, like, when they're feeling shit and demotivated, and when training's going well, and they rip into each other's training. You know, why you're running this fast on your easy runs, and yeah, it's just so entertaining if you're a real fan of running and whatever. And yeah, they're such a good listen. So I've been enjoying that, and yeah, mate, was pretty taken aback as well by some of the performances in Barcelona at the half marathon last week too. Our other influencer, mate, Hugo Fry. I don't know whether you've seen his time or not, but
I didn't. It's completely. I knew there was some people in Barcelona. I didn't see any.
Get
of the
this,
times.
mate. Hugo Fry ran an astonishing 63:36, I believe. It was 63:30 something. I want to say 36 or 35 or something. He ran 63:30 something in Barcelona last Sunday, which is absolutely insane running. That is so fast.
Yeah.
So fast. It's incredible. That's just such a fast run.
You think a few years back, that's kind of what pros are getting.
I was very, very, very impressed by that time. I know he's had a coach lately. He posted something about he's been coached for the last number of months, I think. But that's a next level kind of run. That's a breakthrough. And I kind of have an opinion on the half marathon as well as a distance, because I've seen this a lot. I've seen this trend quite a bit in running, is that I've seen runners that can run like low 220s for the marathon. Like, I'm talking 222, 223, 224, 225, that kind of territory. But their half marathon, we're talking like 68 to 70 minutes, you know? Whereas which is kind of like what I'm trying to say there is for a fast marathon, their half marathon doesn't really correlate. You would
Yes.
expect maybe a 2:22 runner or a 2:23 runner to maybe be running 67, 68 minutes.
Hmm.
What I'm kind of trying to say is like there's something about the half marathon. I think running really fast in it is actually really difficult.
Hmm.
Almost, and it's not necessarily a thing that I think. Sorry, I've worded that wrong. I don't think it's necessarily harder to execute, but what I've seen is a bit of a trend in you don't tend to see as many super fast half marathons as you do marathons. Even though for me the marathon is a tougher distance to get right, I've
Hmm.
seen more people that can convert their fitness to the marathon more readily than their fitness to the half marathon more readily. Maybe it's because more people aren't doing the kind of real half marathon specific stuff to
Yeah.
be fast over. I don't know what it is, but you don't see many like sub 66 or sub 65 minute half marathons within the non elite world.
Yeah.
I don't think. Um, Unless you're like a 2:14 or a 2:15 marathon runner. But yes, I just thought that time was astonishing. I was very impressed by that. Because that's a that's a massive step up for him.
Peptides.
What's that?
Do- what? You don't know what peptides are?
No.
God, we must be in a bit of a
Well,
bubble here in Australia.
I'm
They're
gonna assume they're drugs.
they are indeed. They're all the range here in
They are indeed.
Australia, and and they're really big in America as well. They're basically.
Peptides.
I'll have
Are
to.
they
I don't want to.
illegal?
They are prescription for the most part. I want to give you
Okay.
the exact definition. Bear with me.
Peptides.
So they are.
Heard the
They're
word peptides, but not within.
So, in short, they're short chain amino acids and they can be used for a range of different things. Anywhere from like if you want nice hair to if you want,
Jeez, mate, hook us up.
yeah, whatever, nice nails. But more importantly, things like growth hormone. If you want better recovery, if you want better injury
Wow.
healing, peptides are getting used quite a lot. And I'm not,
First article I've seen is uh first article when I Google peptides is injectable peptides craze sweeping the US.
yeah.
It hasn't.
Same here in Australia, and they're becoming very popular.
Are they
Yeah,
just an athletic thing, or
no,
are they
that's
for
what I'm saying.
everything?
Like some people will be taking them, getting them prescribed for like hair growth. Other people, like someone recommended me them for my injury. They were like, "Oh, have you tried peptides?" They're very
Wow.
new, so they're very experimental. And obviously, as soon as you inject something, it becomes illegal in sport. But
Mm.
you can get them from just about anything. Like if you were to just Google search peptides for endurance athletes, you're going to get a list of probably like 3 or 4 things that are gonna assist in what you do.
It's
Um,
funny. The
mm,
first, obviously, that's hilarious. I've just did that search that you mentioned,
mm.
and clearly some of the sports brands are very, very smart in their thinking, because what has come up when I Googled peptides for endurance sport is a link to Precision Fuel and Hydration
Oh, very good.
and Pure Sport
Yeah,
and Nomeo, believe it or not. So
they know what
these
they're
sports
doing.
brands are very good with their search optimization. They know what the endurance junkies could be searching online.
Hmm.
That's very smart, isn't it? So yeah,
They're very good.
continue, mate.
Mm.
I'm intrigued.
Oh, it's just all the range, and it seems to be, yeah, what a lot of people are taking now, at least in the US and Australia. Maybe not the UK. Like maybe it's still just good old fashioned EPO and stuff. But yeah, that's still where my head goes as soon as you see anything like outrageous in
Mm,
terms of like race times. And things. I'm like,
yeah,
man, I because like you're always in the back of your head. You're like, oh, I want this to be just good old fashioned blood, sweat, and tears. But man, it's so hard to believe. And
yeah.
sorry to just cut you off a minute. I had like a moment the other day because I talked to Nicole. Obviously, sees me watch cycling, and to a lot of people about cycling. And I think what sets endurance sports apart from things like football and team sports is there's no skill involved, so it becomes all about fitness. And when you're in a sport that is all about fitness, you're going to do everything you can to increase that. And I'm like, I think literally every pro endurance athlete who is anyone is probably juiced to the absolute gills or finding some way. And it's in a way, it's sad to say, like, personally, it doesn't phase me. Like, if someone came out and told me uh Tadej Pogacar is on enough drugs to kill a small horse, and the only reason he's the best is because he can just handle it, and he's handling it better than anyone, I'm not going to be surprised.
Mhm.
And based on what these people can achieve, it's so superhuman that I'm like, that's
Yeah.
just where my head goes now. I'm like, man, these guys are taking things.
Yeah, and the thing is, you're 100% right. The thing is too, though, is that we kind of have two sides to the coin with endurance sport. You kind of have the guys and the girls that have something to gain
Mm,
by running fast,
mm,
whether that's elite athletics where it's financial gain or medals at Olympic Games or at a World Championships or whatever, or just sponsorship and a lifestyle. But then what you also have now is you have people in the online space that also have something. I've been thinking about this,
mm,
is that, and that is something that I think Matt and Luke touched on in Sweat Elite is, running influencers and people in the online space that have a big following or attempting to grow their following by performing at incredibly high levels. They have massive things to gain, do you know?
hmm
Um, they have a lot of these running influencers, content creators, they've left their jobs because they're now getting brand deals and financial incentives. So if they're running faster and faster and faster, well, that's just like it's a pretty it's a murky world. I've got no
hmm
doubt about it. I'm sure it's a very murky world. And yeah, obviously it goes without saying. Like I'm sure some of those guys and girls are doing things that are um, not not legal. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting one, but that's the first time peptides have come across kind of my radar. I'm obviously well aware of EPO and other steroids and performance enhancing drugs,
hmm
but not peptides. It's not something I've actually heard of,
I
which
think they're more
I'm
like,
very
I think
surprised about.
the way to look at it is it's more, they're more indirect performance enhancers. So say if you're dealing with injuries, you take this peptide and all of a sudden your ability to heal is better. Or, oh, we've got this peptide that upregulates growth hormone. It's not growth hormone, but it's going to tell your body to start producing growth hormone, which again is really important for any athlete. It's that kind of deal. I'm really, I should have come more equipped to start talking about peptides, but I'm not sure how they're being. I mean, as soon as you inject anything, it's illegal in sport. Like you can't even take IV electrolytes in running or cycling because you just can't inject anything. It becomes illegal. So it's obviously illegal, but I'm not sure how kind of frowned upon it is. Like if you're in an off season as a runner or a cyclist to be taking peptides, like I presume it would be illegal to then go and compete off the back of it.
Jeez,
But
I've just opened up a Reddit article
mm,
and someone has asked peptides for high rocks prep, what actually works for endurance and strength? Hey,
hmm
ladies, I've got a high rocks competition coming up, and I'm dabbling in recovery and performance. I'm curious what peptides you've seen real results from when training for hybrid event stuff that hits both cardio endurance and lifting performance. Do you know what, mate? I am so like society is just so fucked.
it's yeah,
What is going on out there?
yep.
Like people are probably spending. I'm gonna assume these chemicals are fucking expensive.
Oh, of course
Um,
they're brand new. Yeah, yeah.
what is going on?
You know what? On
What
the
is wrong with us as a people?
on the point of expensive, there was one guy at my gym who I was
It's
having a
just mental, man.
conversation with, who has
Mental.
started taking, and this talks about the accessibility of it as well now, who has started taking testosterone, and he was telling me about how much he was paying per week for basically a TRT dose of testosterone. Not entirely necessary for him, but it was through a clinic. It was done legally. Had a prescription, and we're talking about $350 a week, which in pounds is about 170, no, 165 ish pound a week for testosterone. Like that's a lot, man. Like 160 pound a week is is a fair bit, and that is going to add up. So yeah, these things are expensive, and people are just doing it because, oh, I can look a little bit, I can grow a little bit quicker.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, I don't even know if we should get into this right now, but yeah, just even reading that comment,
Mhm.
it's so blasé and so, you know, normal. It's
Mhm.
like, why don't you just go sleep a little bit more, eat a little bit better, get a coach and train a bit smarter?
And train hard.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
Ah,
yep,
mate, I don't know. I just don't know.
yep.
Don't know.
That's
But anyway,
that's.
yeah, some unreal performances last week. I was really impressed too by Dan Nash's 211 in Seville. Um,
Oh, nice.
who is the physiology of endurance running
Mhm.
host. Dan is, if you would ask me which athletes are not doping and not taking
Yeah,
anything illegal, Dan would be top of my list.
yep.
He's an absolutely stellar lad and just an unbelievable athlete who has been running for a really, really, really long time, since I think he's been running pretty much his whole life up to this point. PhD and absolute expert in the world of physiology. And yeah, he just broke 212. I think his last run in Valencia was 212 something. He ran
Mhm.
211 in Seville this past weekend. So yeah, that was a class result. I think conditions in both Barcelona and Seville last weekend were absolutely quality.
It
I
looks
think
nice. I'm just looking at a video now of Barcelona. It looks fantastic.
it looked beautiful. It looked like just perfect running. A little bit of sun, no wind, nice
Mhm.
and cold. It just was prime for anyone that was in PB shape to go and absolutely smash it. Um, so yeah, some great performances last week, and my appetite has definitely been whet to get back into some training, into some racing, but not yet, not yet.
Mhm. I guess will you wait for the the off season, football off season?
Um, yeah, probably will. Yeah, probably will. I'll give it a little bit of time. The only problem is that it might be an extended season, with the cancellations and all the games that we've had cancelled. So
Mm.
I don't know if I, I don't know. I don't know.
Mhm.
See, I'll see.
Just see
I'm in
whether
no
see
rush
where
to
the
get
year
back into
takes
my
you.
running either. Like we said last week, um, so much time. There's no need to be jumping on to a marathon prep next week or anything like that. So I'm in absolutely no rush. But it's cool to see what others are doing, um, and I'm definitely looking forward to just getting back into it because I love it.
Mhm. For sure. And have you, on the topic of running, given that we are technically still a running podcast, yeah,
Bit of
what's running
training.
been like this week? Yeah, how's
Yeah,
the running?
interesting. Interesting. I actually headed out for a jog last Friday afternoon, which I
Mm.
rarely do. But the sun was shining, and I was like, my trainers are just calling me. So I actually got out for 13.5K last Friday afternoon, just short of an hour, 59 minutes, which was great. Loved that. Played a game last Saturday, 90 minutes. We beat a team 4-3, so
Nice.
that was good. Pulled up pretty sore from that. Also got an unbelievably big bruise on my hand after that game, which I have no idea how I got it. But just had this massive bruising on my hand, weirdly. So that was last Saturday. That was great. Last Sunday morning, swim session with the club, myself and Kira. That's a nice Sunday routine. We get into the pool, get the swim on, and then we have a nice coffee and a scone afterwards, as I mentioned last week.
Oof.
Then Monday, I was pretty tired from the weekend, from the swim was kind of, it did help recovery a little bit, but my body was a bit beaten after the game. So I went out for a really, really easy run. Like was really purposely keeping it really slow to kind of aid recovery. But I ended up running for 2 hours, mate. I ended
There you go.
I felt great. You know, one of those runs where you go out
It's a
feeling a bit
longy.
you feel a bit sheepish, you feel a bit my body felt a bit tender. I didn't feel tired, but my body felt a
Mhm,
bit tender.
mhm,
And yeah, mate, I did 2 hours and felt absolutely amazing during the second hour, just pottering around,
mhm.
and felt great by the end of that run. It was lovely. Kept the heart rate really low, kept the feeling really light, and
Do you fuel during a 2 hour?
no, the intensity was so low, mate. It was zone
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
It was no, I was well fed going into it,
Mhm, mhm,
as I always am generally. But no, I didn't take anything on board.
mhm,
There was absolutely no need. I actually didn't intend on being out for 2 hours. I
mhm,
just kept going and really enjoyed it. I kind of stayed really close to home as well because I didn't plan on being out for so long. So my map on Strava was a strange one. I actually bumped to a guy as well that does a bit of running, Aaron. And had a few miles with him and chatted with him for a while. And then after I left him, yeah, I just continued running for about another hour or so, and that was lovely. Tuesday morning, back in the pool for a session with the club. Tuesday evening, football training.
mhm,
Jogged around to football training, which is about a mile. Jogged home. Wednesday, I did 58 minutes in the morning. Really slow again, just recovery focused, super, super chill. And then social run followed by club swim in the evening. So pretty big volume day, like 2 hours, 15 minutes of volume in that day. Um, which is no problem to me either if the intensity is relatively low. Like 2 hours is,
mhm.
is absolutely grand because I sit around a lot for my work and my recovery would be quite good. Thursday, which was yesterday, in the morning, actually, this was early afternoon. I jumped on the treadmill and did a 45-minute progression. Wanted to look at some heart rate versus lactate again.
Mhm.
So I did a really nice heart rate progression where I started at like 100 beats per minute at just this very, very, very relaxed, like very slow jogging pace, and took it right up to about 530 per mile, which is, I'm going to guess, like 325, 324 per K.
Mhm.
100 beats per minute up to 145 beats per minute. 145 BPM typically correlates with just above my LT1.
Mhm.
And the lactate measured up pretty solidly as well. I was measuring 2.9 at the end, which is kind of right in that. So that told me that the body was functioning pretty well. I wasn't getting
Mhm.
any suppression or anything like
Yep.
that, and felt pretty good. That was nice. Then I did just 10 minutes cool down on the bike, um, just to mix it up. And then last night I had football training, just an hour football, no jog, just got to training, done the training, and drove home. And that's been that. I didn't train this morning. I took a lie on, as you know. That's the week.
Lovely. Obviously, like you said, the first thing that is a lot of volume. I guess you're right. I guess you are, because you're sedentary most of the week. It kind of cancels out a lot of
Mm.
that. But do you think the additional volume maybe had something to do with the tiredness today?
Yeah, maybe, for
Mhm.
sure, maybe. Um, Hard to know. Like, I, I don't think the training load has been greater this week or even last week, because I've dropped the intensity of some of those like runs,
Mhm.
especially like a lot of those runs in previous weeks I've been clipping around there, 4 minute Ks, 410s.
Mhm.
This week was very much 5 minute Ks, 510s. So I'm not sure. Maybe it's cumulative, maybe it's other factors at play, who knows? But it's
Mm.
just important now to not investigate too heavily, but rather just to
Sure.
listen and actually
Yep.
make good decisions. So
Mhm.
that's what I try not to overthink it either, and try to
Yeah.
pinpoint anything. It's just like listen to the body. Sometimes you're good, sometimes you're not so good. Let's not let's not get too into the weeds about it. But yeah,
Mhm.
listen, a good week overall. the weather had started to turn a little bit, which was beautiful. But then I've just checked the weather when we were chatting there earlier, and this next week just looks horrendous. It's rain every day, mate. If you can see that.
Oh dear, it literally is. For those listening, it's like, is that 10, 11 degrees all week?
Yeah.
Or is that,
That's
yeah.
warm. That's going to be warmer though. We've had a few days, mate, where it's been like from 0 to about 2 degrees, but feels like -5, -6. I think it's because there's quite a lot of humidity in the air and
Mm.
wet conditions and winds. So there's been days there where temperature hasn't been like -2 or -3, but flip me, it has been Baltic.
I won't,
Absolutely Baltic.
I won't lie. I think I've been in Australia for too long because I'm now at the point where any day less than about 28, I'm like, oh mate, the weather's turning. It's going to be miserable this week. Um, that's not
Yeah.
good. That is not good because we are going to get winter soon, and it is going to get to the point where we're kind of like 5, 6 degrees. I'm just not ready for it. I've been enjoying summer this year, so yeah, my heart does go out to you and anyone else running in Baltic conditions, mate.
Yeah, it's been
Jesus.
brutal. What about your training?
Um, yeah, training, like I said, training's been pretty good. Still much the same structure wise as it was last week. I guess the main kind of, I'll just stick to the highlights so I'm not boring people, but had a little bit of a hamstring twinge on at the start of the week, and I had to go see the physio just to have a look, because I've been having some issues. Like something's definitely not quite right with my whole left leg. Like I felt it on the bike for a little while, and I just haven't. It hasn't got to the point where I've needed to address it. And then I think it was Tuesday. I just felt like really pinchy, almost like I'd had a little tear from training, and tears aren't the end of the world. Like sometimes you get tiny, tiny little kind of muscle tears that usually repair with a little bit of rehab and just smart training. So I was like, look, Amp, have you got an hour? I need you to come have a look. And we did some work, we did some testing, just like left versus right leg, just different ranges of motion. And my left hamstring is weaker. Both my hamstrings are weaker than they need to be, based on the rest of my legs and my kind of age. And my left side is noticeably weaker than the right. So even to the point where the outer head of my left hamstring isn't doing as much work as it should. So there's a lot of load on the inner head of the hamstring, and that's where probably a little tear has come up. So got some more kind of stuff to add to my resistance training to help get the hamstrings fired up, to get my left glute working, and to open up my hips, because my hips are tight as, like, really quite uncomfortable a lot of the time, and I've had some
Like
back
most of us.
issues. Yeah, pretty much. So hopefully some stuff to address that. And it's mean I've been
Cool.
pretty sore for the whole week, honestly, like, because we did some isometric training, which is quite tough if you're not used to it. So just
Yeah,
kind
it's
of been
brutal.
dialing back a bit. But I skipped one of my rehab runs last Sunday to get out on the bike for a little bit longer. No regrets. Like it was really fun. But it kind of meant I was in need of going on Thursday, and I was like, well, my volume across the week is down. I'll go for an extra couple of Ks. So I did 8K easy, broken up into 4x2K, and those breaks are literally just to let me kind of let the muscles, let the soft tissues have a little bit of a rest, and for me to listen to the body. And look, if I'm being honest, like my heel doesn't change anymore. It's like it's just always at a level of discomfort, and it's just not getting better. It's just finding what I can tolerate without making it worse. So I enjoyed the run though. Honestly, like it was. I am having to go out in carbon plates because they're cushioned, and it's really soft on my heel, so I'm getting less discomfort. So that obviously helps. It does make it
Mhm.
more fun. But we're talking 8 a.m. It was probably like early to mid 20s. I'll be honest, I had my shirt off because it was quite warm, and I was just like, man, this is why I started running in the first place. I did honestly feel like I was,
So you could take your shirt off.
so I could like show my abs off to everyone. But no, I definitely felt like that runner's high. I was like, man, I feel like I'm just flowing,
Mm.
and I was like, man, it's such a shame that, like, I can't do this as much as I'd like.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. I was in the moment. I enjoyed the run. Yeah, and I think my goal with running is I think I just want that once or twice a week. I want to be able to go, I just fancy going out for 10K, 12K easy, and then not have it leave me in
Mm.
pain, basically. So I think that's the point I want to get to. And then the rest of my volume's just going to be cycling. I think that's going to be my goal. And I had a bit of a think, and I wouldn't mind setting the target of maybe at the end of the year being able to do some crit racing, or even like
Okay.
a kind of a 1 day like stage race. There's a few of those in Australia, so
Yeah.
maybe at the start of next summer, something to work
Have
towards.
you ever seen that pro race, that Melbourne to Warrnambool?
I haven't,
It
no.
looks like a pretty hectic race. We were actually in Warrnambool when that race came through, and it was absolutely class watching the top guys sprint finishing after like
Hmm.
I want to say it could be 200 to 300 k's worth of racing.
Hmm.
It's a big one. It's a one dare, but it's a great watch. It was class. You should check that out.
I was pretty gutted I didn't go to. I don't know if you saw the Cadel Evans Great Ocean Road Race. It was like it's meant to be a 1 day, because while all the pro teams are here in January for the Tour Down Under, and then they get them to go to Melbourne to do the Cadel Evans Road Race down in Geelong, and I just realised too late. But otherwise, I would have said I would have taken the family down to Geelong. It's only about an hour drive away, just to go, because Casper loves watching the bike races.
Yeah,
I think that would have been really cool. Very busy, I think, but yeah, it would have been really good to see some of the pro
that would have been
teams,
cool.
and it's almost always a sprint finish as well.
Yeah, that would have been
So
class. I was just
maybe,
checking out the Melbourne to Warrnambool, mate. It's a one dare. It was last Saturday. It was February the 8th.
oh, there you
Sorry,
go.
Saturday before last. It's the second oldest one day race in the world, mate.
Okay,
After Liège, Bastogne Liège, which is one of
there
the
you
big
go.
spring classics here in Europe, which is obviously one of the biggest cycling events in the world. But it's 267 k's long, starts at Avalon Airport and
Oof.
finishes at the intersection of Liebig Street in Warrnambool. But myself and Kira, we did a bit of a road trip down the Great Ocean Road when we were in Australia, and we were in Warrnambool at the end
Hmm.
of the Great Ocean Road on the day of that race coming through. It was
Oh,
class
no
because
kidding.
obviously I was like loving endurance sport,
Yeah.
and just to be there was really really cool, and to see the winners sprinting it out after slogging it for yeah
A
close to
long
300
time.
k's,
Yeah.
covered live on SBS and SBS Demand. So
There you go.
yeah, it was a good one. But mate, we've just boxed off the hour.
We have. I think
Will
that's
we get you to bed?
we are. I'll be honest, listeners, viewers. I'm pretty haggard at the moment. I'm so ready for bed. I was telling Adam I got more crow's feet than I had at the start of the week. But yeah, look,
You're
I
rocking it,
think
mate.
that's probably a good time to wrap up. And guys, thank you as always for taking the time to listen to us. I'm glad we got some running content in this week. And again, I will just emphasize that me and Adam often just kind of go off of whatever we feel like talking about on these pods. But if you have any questions, if you have any topics you want us to cover, like thoughts on things we talk about, if you have opinions, we're always happy to have a chat about that and put it into the itinerary. So let us know. But otherwise, like a follow, a like, a subscribe, all means the world to us. So we'd really appreciate that. So good luck if you're running at all this week, this coming weekend, and we'll see you guys again next week. All the best.